Hey.
Hey,
How you doing?
what's up?
It's time for overtime. Dave Safransky's with us. He hangs out Thursdays answering financial questions, and we actually allow him to speak on other issues, but we save it for the internet, so it's a little bit safer for all of
Yeah.
Because the internet's safe.
Yeah.
us. And very reliable and trustworthy.
It's not safe for the listeners. It's
No.
safe for you.
So today we're bringing up an issue that you probably heard us just in a live show talking about. But remember, like, share, listen to the live show on the app if you're not in Northeast Ohio, or on Moody Radio Cleveland, 103.3, and you can hear this stuff. But we slowly brought up this topic. There's a mom who wrote for Yahoo, Candace Ganger.
That's so nice that you're taking the time to pronounce her name
Yeah.
correctly.
Candace.
Candace.
And she's a mom of 2 kids, and she's stressed out. Her days begin and end the same, she says, an infinite loop of to-dos, errands, and emotional labor. Can we get an amen from the mom?
Amen. Yeah.
Emotional labor.
Does it say that she's working outside of the home, or is she
Yes.
just in?
No, but even if you're working just at home, it's exhausting. It's so sacrificial.
My kids are pulling me in every possible direction, she said. Seem familiar?
Hello.
And I'm
But she only has
expecting-
2.
No, but it's a lot. Wherever you're at, it's a lot.
Okay.
And she says, I'm expected to perform my responsibilities without cracking under pressure. Is that true?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
But now she's upset about, and she's... quote-
Callie says amen.
Oh, here
So
we go.
moms are feeling it. We even had Darcy say she had tears in her eyes. Amen.
Aw.
Do you hear the small violins playing right now? How do you do that again? Yeah.
Darcy needs a candle.
Deborah and Eastlake, what's up?
So, and she's done being quiet now about a parenting double standard that supposedly exists.
Supposedly.
I'm just putting it out there because this is her theory. She says there's a double standard when it comes to parenting. It's clear such a standard exists because of how much I'm expected to do and be a working mother with an incredibly full planner, while my husband is allowed to put his needs first and care for his kids second, yet he still receives praise for his minimal efforts. My comparison to this would be, I shared on the air, Dad takes kid to the grocery store, and an older, more mature woman will say, "Oh, look how sweet you are. You brought your kids to the store. That's so nice for your wife that you did that." And if a woman brings her kids to the store and they happen to make a fuss, she's scowled at and chastised. Can't you keep your kids under control when they're here? Fair?
Yes.
Analogy?
I remember a lot of it would be like when we had, let's say, infants, and Len does not play to this. He knows, and you're like this.
You always do this.
No, I'm just saying, because Len is not like that. But he very
He never
much...
took the kids to the store.
He would stay with every newborn, even if it was like a week old. All he would tell me is just make sure I have milk. After that, he's like, you could take your time, I don't care. So he wasn't intimidated with that stuff. But when family and friends would see him, it would be that, oh my goodness, look. And even telling me, you need to appreciate him. I got it. But I'm just saying, I never got that. When I'm holding it down, it would be like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So it's almost like they say he would get a cookie for being a dad.
Well, and Sarah and
Or
I
a
just...
pat on the back. Good job.
Sarah and I just experienced this in that because of her work schedule, we had to redivide up the household responsibilities. I took over grocery shopping and meal planning and cooking,
Yeah.
primarily because she's not home at dinner time. Like, she doesn't get home till dinner's supposed to be served, so I got to take care of it. And people were like, "Oh, Brian,
Yes.
that's so great that you're doing that. Wow."
Yeah.
Do
And-
Brian's friends really talk like that?
Brian.
But, I mean, quite
It's like a
frankly,
lot of Valley girlfriends.
Yeah.
no one ever congratulated Sarah for doing that for who knows how many years. So there's part of me that feels like, yeah, I mean, I'm taking care of my kids. Why is this
Right.
why do I get a trophy for this? So are we agreeing that this is a double standard and it does exist?
Absolutely exists.
Yeah.
No. Nope.
Oh.
I don't agree.
What? I was like,
I don't agree at all. Because, yes, wives are taking care of the kids in a lot of cases, right? Now,
Right.
especially if you're a young mom and you're nursing, kid's not going with dad. Dad isn't going to fulfill that role.
Right.
But then dad goes out and cuts the grass and takes the garbage out and brings the garbage cans back and works on the car sometimes. Not that those roles couldn't be reversed, but I think about the things that my wife did when my kids were young and the things that I did, I never said, hey, why isn't the grass cut? Why are the lines crooked? Because I was doing those things while she was taking care of the kids. So there's more to raising a family than just taking care of the kids. There's a lot of other things that are going on. And by the way, my wife did send me grocery shopping one time.
Yeah.
And I came back with like 17 bags of Nutter Butter cookies. I'm like, what? I love these things. Now, one time she sent me grocery shopping.
Okay, so Dave's getting me thinking.
Julie in New Philadelphia, what's up?
What's up, Callie, Julie, hey everybody, Anita's
Yeah.
showing up, Joe. But how about this one? Okay, to Dave's point, if Sarah was out mowing the lawn all the time, somebody might say to her, what's your husband doing?
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
What? Look at you. Look
That's
at that. The face you made. If you're taking out the trash, what are you going to hear? What is Len doing? Why is Len taking out the trash?
That's not true.
She would never take the trash. She's got
You've
four boys.
You've told us that.
Yeah.
No, wait, hold
You've
up.
told us you'd never take
In
out the trash.
certain circles, I told you the story. I was a leader at a women's group, and I'm giving away awards every time we would meet. You get an award, and so I'm thinking of like, okay, cool. Let's see if you took out your trash. I'm thinking I'm gonna get like 2 hands because I don't take the trash out. I thought that was like a man's job. All these women, I did.
That is so sexist.
Women's, I would
No,
defend as
listen.
women's
My
jobs.
house is different.
Why?
Len
Nursing
tells
the kids
my
is a woman's
boys
job.
when he sees me pulling out the trash, he's like, "You better take that." Like he doesn't want me messing. That's just how we've done it in my house. All these hands went up. So I'm just saying it depends on the circle. I see a lot of women mowing the lawn.
I don't.
Very rarely. You don't?
I asked my wife the other day, where do we keep the lawnmower? She's like, I don't know. I don't know.
Isn't
You
it a
don't
double
think
standard?
it's easier to see a woman doing a man's job, than a female doing, than a dad, like a man doing a woman's job in culture, overall culture? You don't think so? It's easier to see it that way.
My position is moving a little bit because of Dave's point.
I'm like, you guys just want to be difficult.
No, I want to be honest. Okay, just want to be difficult.
We have some good, we got some good points
Okay,
coming
so
in.
what
Go ahead.
are people saying?
So Deborah's saying parenting is a team effort, important to recognize each other's strengths. Then you have to make time for each other. It's a challenge. Callie says, she's a stay-at-home mom, by the way. She said, I would agree as a nursing mom here, my husband has a hard time taking our daughter anywhere because she's still dependent on me.
Did you see what she said though? It's not hard because he's an idiot. It's hard because when she's nursing, she's dependent upon her mother.
And mom needs the baby there too if she's nursing, right? I mean, you can't just not
Yeah.
feed the baby
So
for a
we've
whole
been
day.
told.
Yeah.
Look at, she doesn't like to talk when she's wrong.
No, Len did it. He didn't struggle. I just had to pump the milk, and he was fine.
Okay, we can stop here. We don't have to.
No, but listen, to say that there's no double standard, you don't think in overall culture, just like men, you guys say are looked at as, what word do you use? I don't want to say buffoon.
We are the punchline.
The punchline.
But we are treated as buffoons, yes.
Okay. So are you going to agree that overall in culture, when a man's doing what they're supposed to be doing, it goes with that whole idea on, oh, look, you're being a good dad. Oh, that happens more with the dad than it happens with the mom.
Yes, but I think we have to search for the reason why. Is it possible the dad is congratulated for taking the kid to the grocery store because society deems dads idiots, and so therefore he's congratulated for being not an idiot, as opposed to comparing it to what his wife would do?
Well, Hollywood treats dads like idiots.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So
Dads aren't
if you buck
idiots.
that,
No,
but
no,
if,
no,
But if
they're
you
not.
buck that trend, is the person at the grocery store saying, "You're doing women's work, isn't that nice that you're helping your poor wife," or is it that, well, you're not the buffoon like the world says you are?
Well, maybe you are helping your wife by taking the kids to the store and giving her some time to, not be vomited on for a couple of hours. Maybe
that's
you're
nice.
just being a dad. Being a dad, if you have a stay-at-home mom, which is very hard work, I don't know that I would be cut out for it because it is a lot. I mean, no matter what you're doing, there's going to be a lot of work associated with it. If you're out earning a living, you're going to be gone from 8 to 5, 5:30, 6 o'clock, traffic, all those things. If you're at home with kids, you're going to be managing these kids and making sure that the house is okay and that you're going to get vomited on and all those things. So it's all hard work. It's just different work. And because we've set our society up in a way where, a lot of cases, both people have to work.
Yeah.
So there's daycare. And so then, but when it is that situation, it's not that you're doing women's work or men's work. You're just dividing the labor up to be reasonable, in some reasonable fashion. But Hollywood has set it up so that men look like buffoons, but that's not the way it is. We know that. It's not the way it is.
But
There are
look, this
people
just in.
agreeing that there are double standards.
This just
but
in.
you're backtracking.
No,
You're
no,
saying
look
there
at-
is no double
No,
standard.
I never said that, but look at these comments. Tamar, you look fabulous today.
Tamar
Very
says, I
smart.
agree with Brian. Men
Yes.
are congratulated for being present, which is a shame. Jennifer says, I agree with Brian on that point. We congratulate dads for being dads, since as a society, we act like dads don't matter.
We'll just pause there. Thank you.
But you're saying,
Thank you.
oh my gosh, you had backtracked and agreed with him and said there is no double
No,
standard.
what I'm questioning, I'm saying that happens, but we have to examine whether it is a double standard or whether it's more a reflection of how society views men and
Yeah.
dads than it is about poor moms being the victim all the time.
And another factor might be that there's so many absentee fathers.
Hello, Deborah just said that.
Okay,
Deborah
Deborah,
says,
we're
I
on the
think
same-
dads get congratulated because there are plenty of men who do not step up to the plate.
So, and there's also absentee mothers. So why do men get lumped with the absentee fathers and women don't?
Because it's 99-1. It's rare to have an absentee mother.
But you know what though? I struggle
By
with that
comparison.
because my
Stop
kids.
being right, Ron.
It's like my kids when they do their chores or when they do their homework, and they come and ask for like a pat on the back, just because like other people you may know don't. Let's just use an example: make their bed and clean their room. Like you're doing what you're supposed to
Yeah.
do. You don't get. I don't care if other employees don't get to work on time or don't go the extra mile. Like really, seriously, that's what
But
we're gonna
that's the
do
society
now.
we live in. We people want an award or a reward for doing what they should have done in the first place.
Yeah.
So I would always say to my kids, "What do you want, a medal or a chest to pin it
Thank
on?"
you.
Right?
Yes.
I mean,
Thank
come on.
you.
You're doing what you're supposed to do. I'm not going to recognize now if you go over and above. If
Yeah.
you go beyond, now we can talk. But if you're just doing the things that I told you to do in the first place, but the
Hello.
society that we live in, everybody's got to get a certificate. Everybody's got to get an award. And I think what it does is it punishes people who do extraordinary work, because now you don't have the incentive to do those things.
Hi, Melissa. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Deborah. Margie just chimed in and said people want to encourage dads. What do you think about that? Maybe, okay, if they're not stepping up to the plate, a lot of dads, and the ones that are, is it a good encouragement to say, oh, good, look, you're spending time with your kids?
I think that could be one of the focuses, but I still have to question, like, the circles I'm in, and, a lot of circles.
You got your people.
He's got a certain.
There are some incredible
Yeah,
dads.
yeah.
Like,
Yes.
I'm trying to think of the guys that I've surrounded myself with, the men I know at church. These are not dudes that are getting home from work, pulling up the recliner, and hollering to have his wife get a beer. These are not the guys I know. The guys I know are like Ron, and like Len, and, and like Dave. Do you see? And so, like, I'm not certain this is maybe even as extreme as this woman is claiming. That basically men care about themselves, don't care about the kids and get away with it, and women care only about the kids and not about themselves.
Okay, I think, and I may get in trouble
I'm
for
trying to be
this.
fair.
I know I'm gonna get in trouble for this. I'm around a lot of circles because of geography. I go to the East Coast, I go to DR, the cultures.
You're saying you have more circles than me?
No,
You have
what
some
I'm
better
saying
circles
is
than me.
sometimes I do this. We forget some things can be regional, like let's say Ohio, or like
Yeah.
we're around a lot of Christians. And when I'm around my family, the culture in Latin America is very male chauvinist. And so
Yes.
when they see Len, I've even been told when I went to DR, like, oh my goodness, you better like be good to him so he won't leave you. And I'm like, I looked at them like, what? Like,
Well,
tripping.
Never leave.
No, because
I feel
he's
like you
so
could be good to him
no,
personally, but
because he's so good and so good with the kids. It was almost like you're so lucky to have some.
Well,
So
hold on,
it's a
Brazil,
lot.
I see
Look
this. It's the same way in Brazil.
Thank you.
Lisa
Okay.
Anderson is here. Hello, Lisa Anderson. She's like a celebrity.
Yeah, Lisa.
Wow.
Wow.
Aaron Shepard,
I feel like pressure.
Fun Size.
Lisa.
We love your name or
Yes,
your
we do.
username. Fun Size Thompson says, "Hey guys, great topic as
Great.
usual."
She wins our like absolute best handle in all of Facebook.
Callie says, "I like your suit, Dave."
Oh, thank you.
This
And
might pick it
Darcy, I don't think it's either. Darcy says, "I think that so many women have a husband who doesn't step up. That when society sees a man step up, we get impressed, and that is what's sad." Yeah, so I do think in certain.
How does it always end up to be the man's fault for everything?
Here's what we need to do, though, I think. This is why we need mentors in church to mentor young families, to mentor young men, because a lot of younger guys, a lot of younger families, they're inexperienced. They don't have the knowledge that we have, and we need to be telling these guys, don't let your wife hang out to dry, because you know when you get married and she had her friends and you have your friends and then you have kids, right? Well, now the what we could do, the mistake that we make is we still go golfing, we do all the things that we love, we kind of leave that wife at home because she's supposed to take care of the kids.
Right.
And that's why we need mentors in church. The guys that you mentioned, Brian, who don't come home and pull up the recliner and yell for a beer. This is your family. This is what you're devoted to. This is where you're at now. This is what you chose. And we want to do it right in a godly way. And that's why we need mentors at church to kind of walk, because these young families are going to go through these rough times.
We're like trading roles here, Dave.
Where I'm
Because
being the
I'm-
one with wisdom and knowledge.
And I'm the curmudgeon.
Yes.
TT says, "Oh, go ahead, please."
Well, what I was going to say is that I just find it an interesting phenomenon that we keep seeing. We saw it yesterday. I think it was yesterday. We talked about boomers, right? Mm-hmm. And my challenge was, "Hey, boomers, what are some weaknesses you need to work on?" Crickets. Nobody had anything. They were like, "Wow, we're just perfect. We got nothing." I sometimes feel like whenever there's issues in family and relationship, whose fault is it?
Oh my goodness.
It's dad's fault. Obviously.
No.
Okay.
Oh my
So
goodness.
let's be honest. What could women be doing to contribute to this reality?
I think a lot of
Unless
times
it's all man's
women do that. A
Do
lot
what?
of times it's the women that give the cookie to the man that's doing it right.
Thank you. It's exactly
Yeah,
right.
we're
It is
doing
women
it.
who congratulate men for doing this.
It was a woman that told me in my family, "Oh, be good to him so he won't leave you." You know, and so what we're
And have
the
you been good to him?
message.
Have you taken
I'm
that
good
advice?
to him, but he ain't going nowhere. He told me.
I don't know, he's doing a lot, you know.
Whatever. No, listen.
He's got it good.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, we women are putting out the message like, "Oh, thank goodness you're doing it," or like,
Yeah.
"We're so lucky you're doing it," and so we're selling ourselves short instead of saying, let's just say, I'm only accepting a man that's gonna be faithful to his responsibilities versus I'm lucky if I get a man. You know, like, it's almost like you're getting a bonus. No, that should be the basic requirement of a man that you accept.
Because this is also the same thing where a mother who does everything for her son creates a husband that expects his wife to do everything.
Right.
But you're one of the only women I know that's willing to entertain self-reflection on this. Yes, men, of course, contribute to this. There's absentee fathers out there. There's a bunch of lazy bums doing stuff. But there's a lot of great dads doing something. And it's rarely in life are there conflicts where it's 100% someone's fault.
That's right.
And her whole thesis here, this Candace, is that it's man's fault. Men are the one who are creating this double standard.
I'm going to tell you where I think men should change, help change the
And then we'll
narrative.
get back to women. Go ahead.
And then we'll get back to some of your comments. Sheila, I love your point. One little thing, and Len does this, when people try to say stuff, he'll be like, "No, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing." I think you can push back and say, "What are you talking about?" You know?
Well,
Even
right.
little things like, "Oh, you're babysitting your kids."
Yeah,
He'll
don't ever
check
say
it
that
and be
to
like,
me.
"These are my kids."
Yeah,
Or,
I'm like babysitting my kids. That's weird.
but he doesn't
Pain?
take. He tries to say something instead of just saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm, whatever." Sheila says, "I think I need lessons in Facebook." She's glad to be here live. She says, "I shouldn't need to point things out that need to be done. Sometimes I feel like there's a higher expectation for me to do it all because I do stay home. He does do a great job taking the kids." She says it's more on the housework.
And,
Yeah.
and we've talked about that point about women sometimes feel like, I shouldn't need to point this out. He should see it all because I see it all. But men think differently. And Sheila, if you want to get it done, don't worry about telling him. Make a point of saying, "Hey, hon, can you wash the dishes? Can you take the trash out? It's overflowing." He might not see it the way you see it.
Beyond that, or I should say, in addition to that, whose timeline is the right timeline? Does it need to get done right now, or can it be done in an hour?
Right.
And if the person says it can be done in an hour, are they wrong? Sometimes marital conflict comes from one person dominating the timeline for things to get done and dominating how things get done.
Right.
Right?
Yes. I like Margie's question. She says, I think the answer to the question is obvious. Perhaps maybe should we ask, is the double standard diminishing, or how is the double standard changing? Is it diminishing? Is it bad? Because some people are saying, well, it's just encouraging dads.
I think it's changing. I think younger generations of dads are stepping up even more than previous generations. Wouldn't you guys agree with that?
You see more
Look at
dads
Ward Cleaver.
carrying their babies around with them.
Sure.
And, doing those things. And that's good. They should be.
Tamara says, I think some men...
You're a Ward Cleaver, basically.
Tamara says, I think some men need to be encouraged, and as a wife, we should be encouraging each other to continue in those things that are good, and it should be reciprocated. The encouragement is necessary, because we're not saying don't tell the men that are doing it well, man, good job, or look at the way you spend time with your kids, right, Brian? So what is the issue is we're not doing it on the other side, where it's almost expected, like, of course you should be with your kids when it's the woman.
Yeah.
That's the issue. It's not the issue of encouraging men.
I think it's years. You're trying to buck years of expectations that it was a woman's job to take care of kids and it was a man's job to go out and earn a living. And as those roles change over time, as there's more women in the workplace, as there's there's just a change of roles, and it's going to take a long time for it to happen. But I always liked taking my kids to the store. I would take kids to Home Depot with me, and
You like that?
I did like it. Now, I only had 2. You guys have like 14 combined kids. It wasn't as difficult for me to take a kid to the store, but it never occurred to me not to take them. So...
Yeah.
And I could always blame a purchase on them. I'm like, oh, Josh wanted me to get this drill, and so I bought it.
Yeah.
I gotta try that.
Hi, Wendy. Hi, Renee. Hi, Julie.
What about Darcy's comment?
Darcy says there are a lot of women that are doing very poorly too. That is a separate article, and Brian is right.
Okay, you could stop there, because then she makes another good point against me. But if you stop there, thank you
Yeah.
very much. But she goes on to say, but right now we are looking at the plank, not the spec. I get what she's trying to say. That in the midst of this, I can't deny that there is a point to this, but there is a double standard.
So can you
I
speak
think
a
there
little
is a
bit
double
more
standard.
on how men can own that double standard? Because it happens, it's not just a cultural thing. It happens within families too, especially boomers. Aunts and uncles that grew up in a separate time, they can go up to Sarah and be like, oh, look at your man, you got such a good husband. He's with your 5 kids when you go to the store.
Yeah, Sarah and I do our best to try to gently respond to that, where if someone says, oh, Brian, you're babysitting your kids, I'd be like, no, actually, they're my kids, so I'm not babysitting. Or, oh, Brian, wow, you're doing the groceries. I'm like, yeah, it's no big deal. Like, I don't self-congratulate with them. Like, yeah, I know it's pretty tough planning meals. I mean, you see what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's one way to do it. But to your point, though, the more interesting part of this double standard is that it's not the men at the grocery store saying something.
No.
And if we're going to look at how does the double standard manifest itself, how are women told they're not enough and men congratulated for doing something very small? It's by women.
No, Brian, if you're at the store, and I'm going to expect you to be honest with this.
Okay.
You're at the store and you see some poor guy dragging 5 kids with them.
Oh,
And they're like
thank you.
dragging stuff off the shelves and everything. Don't you think, where's that guy's wife? Because I do. That guy obviously is over his head, outmatched, is being taken advantage of by this crew of Rastafarians.
No,
Where is his wife?
I had this thing
That's
for a long
hilarious.
time where I would do stuff like that, but honestly, I've been there enough, and I know how hard it is, that I don't think that way. I actually seek out people whose kids are going crazy in the store, men or women, and I'm like, and they're looking around, like, oh no, this is so embarrassing. I'm like, listen, I got 5 kids. You're fine. I find myself doing that.
But are
more
you
often.
impressed when you see a man with their babies and struggling? Are you like, wow, look at him?
No, but is Len impressed by that? I
No,
doubt he
no.
would be, because that's what he does.
Yeah,
Now, I didn't start off that way. I didn't start off that way in my marriage relationship.
yeah.
But as we've had more kids and I've learned I've screwed up more often, it's just part of my life now. And so I don't see other people doing it and go, wow, you're a hero. I'm like, you're a dad.
Yeah.
As you know, I've been the perfect husband, so I've moved
Hello.
on with this.
Julie says, I haven't been able to listen super close, but honestly, my mom stayed home and dad went to work. I don't feel bad about that or feel as if my dad didn't love me. That's how it was. And honestly, I don't find it attractive to see a man staying home while the wife works. Not trying to offend anyone. That's just me. My parents were just awesome and my childhood was really good.
Yeah, sure.
Renee, you do have to communicate your expectations. That's come up several times, people kind of resonating with what you said, Ron. No one has the same expectations.
Right.
Yeah, and Darcy is mad at you, Dave.
Oh, Dave, where's that guy's wife?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just being honest. When I see a guy who's obviously outmatched, unprepared, right? I think most guys, we need a coaching session from our wives. Okay, when the kid pukes on you, here's what you do next. Okay, when the kid's diaper is full and a kid's puking on you, here's what you do. Because some of us, I would have to throw myself into this, we're incapable of handling all these things at one time. I feel like that sometimes. So when I see somebody in the store and they're outmatched, I think, where's his wife?
But you know what, though? Lisa says Brian Janelle is on point today. Glad Dave is there. Yeah.
Lisa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa. Obviously a wise woman.
I am going to say, though, I'm going to be honest, there have been times, especially when there was a couple years where I had to take all 5 to the store because Isaiah still wasn't old enough. And I would go home like, oh my goodness, whoever saw me had to think she has no business having 5 kids.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's just
you've been
like you said, the feeling of if it would have happened to Len, it's like, oh, poor guy, where's his wife? And if it's me, it's like, what are you doing? And
That's a
your kids
lot
are
to take
such a
5
mess.
kids to a store. 5
It is.
little kids to a store. That's a lot of work. And you have to shop while you're there.
Yeah.
And manage 5 kids.
And to go back to the communicating expectations thing, one of my stories I'll never forget from the show from years ago, we had a woman call in and say, all I've ever wanted, I've been married 25 years, I think it was for my husband to make the coffee and have a cup of coffee ready for me in the morning.
I do that every morning for my wife.
Every morning.
Hey!
Now,
Woo!
I said to her, oh, that's great. Have you ever told him that? She goes, no. And you laugh. But she's like, well, I want him to know that I want that.
Oh my gosh. That along with, what are you thinking? I don't know. I'm thinking about the grass.
Now, most husbands, like if Sarah said to me, I really would love, Brian, if like when I'm sleeping one day, like if regularly you'd have coffee ready for me, I'd be like, oh, I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Most guys I know would like conquer that hill.
Yeah.
Well, but I want him to know what I want without
Mm-hmm.
telling him what I want. Some of this has to do with some of the parenting expectations. Like having a wife say, it seems to me that I'm bearing the brunt of the household work. And I want to talk about this with you. Mate, am I doing something that's causing you to feel this way? Can we talk about this? As opposed to getting mad, writing an article, and saying there's a double standard. I'd like to hear her husband's piece to see if she ever brought this up to him.
Or even little things. Callie says, as a mother, I think we also learn from trial and error. There's no parenting handbook once they hand you the newborn. There is a thing, and Len has verbalized this for me. He's like, he got excited when I asked him for help with homeschooling. And we've been homeschooling for 15 years. And so he said, sometimes I just don't know how to like come in, because as women, this happens even with the babies. We kind of get a rhythm, even though we feel overwhelmed. And so we can think and feel, man, can you like help me? And as a man, they just don't know. And you look like, okay, she seems like she knows what she's doing.
Exactly.
So
the
you
point.
have to, it was something really simple. I was like, yo, can you help me with this kid? He needs help with math.
So you had to ask.
I had to be specific. And he was like, oh, I got that. Like,
Because
yeah.
you didn't want to come in and just take over.
And it's almost like a light switched, and he felt like, oh my goodness, yes, I would love to help. So tell them, if you're like, babe, can you just like change a diaper every once in a while? Or if I'm going grocery shopping, can you keep the kids? Little things like that, sometimes we can assume, like, are you just going to look at me and not help me? You know?
Yeah.
And
because
sometimes you
he
gotta
walks in
hear
the door
it.
and
Right.
you're overwhelmed, but what does he see? He sees, wow, she's incredible. I don't know how she does this. Look at her.
And she's
doing
so
all this
young.
stuff. Right.
Yeah!
Boy, young.
Facebook Live heard it. No, sir, I don't need to hear this. I'm just
Yeah,
messing with you. I do not need to hear
But,
that.
I mean, quite frankly, it doesn't even have to be, could you change a diaper every once in a while? It could be, honey, I'm really overwhelmed today. I need your help.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
great.
I did want to communicate. Sometimes you want to be specific.
Yeah, but that's combative.
Yeah.
to
Because
say-
if you say, can you help me? And then you go and wash the dishes, it could be like, dude, like, no, I need help. Like,
Right.
that's not helping.
I know what you're saying, but I think the phrase, could you change a diaper every once in a while, is combative. It's
Right. Every
it,
once in a while.
It
Change
communicates,
now.
I wish you'd do something for once.
Oh, yeah.
And
No,
what
that's,
you're really
yeah.
asking is, can you change this diaper?
Yes, I see. I get
Yeah.
it.
See, women need help communicating.
Darcy-
I never asked my wife to load the dishwasher.
Well, she doesn't know how to do
She
it.
doesn't know how to do it. I really believe
Yeah.
that it's probably sexist to say this,
No, we've talked about it.
but I don't think that women and kids know how to load a dishwasher. I think that there's something challenging in the DNA that prohibits the correct loading of a dishwasher. But
Darcy's
Darcy.
speaking Brian's love language.
Thank you, Darcy. It's agreement.
Wow.
Is my
That's
love
like
language.
the third time.
Yeah, she says agreed. Agreed, Brian. Communication is needed, not open letters. And we need to remember we are sinners first, sinned against a second. As J.D. Greer would say,
Agreement.
it is to a man's glory to overlook an offense.
Do you know what one of Sarah's love languages is?
candles.
Receipts. We laughed about it. I figured it out. Like when I print her a receipt, like at the gas station, she's like, "Oh, thanks." Like she loves it. Receipts.
I know my wife's love
Aw,
language is not red
Renee.
shovels. I
Yeah,
have confirmed that.
Trial and error.
Renee, that's super cool. Her mom was a stay-at-home mom, and she loved it. Callie says grocery shopping alone without my kiddos is a vacation. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
isn't that-
although Callie, I learned the hard way with Sarah. Like she'd go, I'd go, "I got the kids. You go grocery shopping. Have fun, babe." And she'd look at me, "Have fun buying your groceries?" Like she wanted to communicate to me, as much as it might feel like a vacation, she's not doing something for her. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but in kind of in the same vein, I always thought getting on the lawnmower and putting those earmuffs on. My wife used to accuse me of cutting the lawn 7 times a week just to get out of the house. I'm like, why do you say that?
I
Oh,
did that in
yeah.
the fall with, I have a lawn sweeper to drag behind my, Sarah's like, "Brian, there's 2 leaves out there." I'm like, "Oh, I gotta pick them up, honey.
Oh,
Gotta get 'em right
I
now.
gotta pick them up. You take the kids."
What do you think about what Jennifer says? She says, my husband had to tell me to stop asking for favors to be a part of the family.
I don't know what that means.
Asking for favors.
So I think she's talking about when we were like, oh, well, can you help with this? Or because then it comes across like you're asking for favors. Like maybe he's thinking,
must have
I
been how
know,
he
like
asked
I
it.
already know what to do. Why
She
do
was
you-
asking him, can you do me a favor and help with the kids? Can you?
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah, with that verbiage, I could see that. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because there's vulnerability in saying, "Please help me with this. I can't do this right now. Will you do it?"
I think
As
this
opposed
is-
to, "Do me a favor because it's my job."
But if,
Yeah.
if you have a young family and you're not part of a church where there's guys that can mentor and women that can mentor the young parents, I think you're really missing out, and you're going to be more prone to mistakes like these
Yep.
because you don't have the perspective. You have these kids, and it's daunting, and there's a lot going on, and you need people to be able to say, "Hey, bro, you need to spend more time at home. Yeah, I know you love to golf, but
Yeah.
your family needs you at home." And some wise woman might say, you need to stop beating up on your husband so much and, let him do his thing a little bit too.
Yeah.
So,
I like Callie's follow-up. She goes, I buy secret snacks for myself. Okay,
Yeah.
Then it's a vacation. grocery
And
shop.
then
I do that.
to sit in the car just a little longer and like grub or just like
No, I'll be like, I'll unload the groceries and I take the 1 or 2 things I bought for me and hide them up in the
Yes.
cabinet. I put them up in the corner cabinet. Sarah, if you're watching this, it's not true. Just don't even look for it.
Yeah, right.
And look at TT. She thinks I'm sweet.
She doesn't really know you that well.
That's
All
why
right.
we need Dave.
One thing I would add would be if you do ask your husband to do something, like an example, my wife gave me 3 things to do. And I'm like, yes, I jump right in. I'm doing number 1. I'm doing the first thing on the list.
Number 1.
And then I go to do the second thing on the list, and she's already doing
Number
it. And my feelings inside were like, great, you must not really need my help if you're already doing that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you give your husband things to do, let him do them. Or just give him one thing at a time if you're going to jump in the middle so that he can do the third thing. But not number 2.
That's cool.
Kelly says she hides her snacks next to her side of the bed. Yeah, see, you gotta hide them.
You gotta hide
The
those
kids eat
snacks.
them.
Yeah.
Your
So
wife will
annoying.
take them.
Yeah.
Like chocolate-covered pretzels, you eat the whole bag. If Lynn
Oh,
told
yeah.
you where they
The
are.
whole thing.
So,
Yes.
all right.
Thank you guys. Follow up Friday tomorrow. You can email anything you want us to talk about, text it, and continue the discussion right here.
See y'all.
Later.